and it is going to be kept open for the next 2 years for sure, and meanwhile there's going to be working on what we can do to maintain that and keep it going. I would like to recognize Councilmember Oliveira for bringing this, and bringing the ordinance to council and council supporting that ordinance and standing behind us, being very supportive of this. And I'd like to say job well done to council. It speaks volumes for how you care about our community. So good job. On October 29th, we hosted the Schools and Cities Forum over here at the Community Center. And this was an opportunity for a fundraiser for our youth and senior programs. Dinner is usually always provided. It gets catered in, or, different cities host this as it moves around. It's done a couple times a year. It was our turn to host, and I had asked Darcy and Joanne if they would like to do a fundraiser and charge for the dinner, and they did, and we had a great lasagna dinner and salad. They did an excellent job, and we got nothing but compliments about the good food as well as the hominess of our senior center. So I thought that was a great compliment to both of you, and everybody enjoyed it. And I'll imagine that Darcy's going to include how much money they were able to raise in that her report, so I'll let her share that information. I do want to say well done. You guys did an excellent job, and thank you so much for making Pacific proud. Thank you. So, and the last thing I'd like to, or a couple of things. As many of you know, I am going to be missing the next 2 council meetings. I'm going to have my knee replacement Monday. I plan on being back the 1st of December. So providing that recovery goes well, I hope to be back, but I will be available by email and also a phone call away. I'm sure our city administrator can handle things, and if there's any type of emergency that we need administrative, we have our Mayor Pro Tem, Councilmember Jones, who can step in and take over. So I feel very confident and everything will be just fine. The last thing that I would like to remind everybody that November 28th is our tree lighting out here. And I do know, I will share this much, there are surprises in store this year for the tree lighting ceremony. I'm pretty excited about it, and it's going to be awesome. So I hope to see everybody here, and don't make fun of me when I show up in a wheelchair and try to say hello.
That last year.
Yeah, so I'm showing up anyway. So and that ends my report. We'll move on to the city administrator.
FYI, the camera was dead, but these 2 gentlemen were honored for being veterans.
Okay, so I'm working on, as I just talked about, the final budget, and it will be ready to review before December 1st, but that's the meeting we'll go over. It'll be probably before Thanksgiving. I'll have it to everybody to look at. The uniform union negotiations continue in the economic stage. Our last meeting was on the 6th, where the union was presented with the city's counter proposal to their second proposal. I will be meeting with council both tonight and next Monday to bring back a response on how council wishes to proceed. The next meeting right now is scheduled for the 18th. It might get moved to the 19th, we're not sure yet, at 10 a.m. We're getting closer. I spoke with our attorney, Carol Morris, on the following ordinances, or possible ordinances. Closing the LID redemption funds and the 2000 fire GO bond so we could transfer the balances to general fund. Well, I talked with the attorney, and there's a lot of code that's just not either in, it might be in resolutions, or it may never have been put into code. So we're going to be working, and I'm going to talk to the state auditors on Wednesday about to make sure that all the funds get properly established and that we do things accordingly to how they wish them to be and how they should be. And I'll work with Carol Morris as necessary, but I think we can pretty much do that ourselves. You might see one big ordinance to handle it all, or maybe resolutions, I'm not sure. I'm going to try and get this done this year so that we won't have this anymore to deal with. Because it kind of makes it difficult, like as far as real estate excise taxes, she couldn't find anything that said it should be in the municipal capital improvement fund. So, it's like, okay, so we'll just move it then. But we need to know when it was established, if there was a reason it was put to that fund, and we can't find anything right now. So I'll be working on that into December and hopefully coming to you maybe the 1st, if not the 1st and the 8th, then the 15th and 22nd to get it done. I'm working with staff on reviewing the city's aging report. I don't know if this was done years before. I know that since I've been here, it wasn't addressed. I've been working with Angelica, who's the does all utilities work, has the history, and she's now had time to finally audit a lot of the accounts, and some of them needed auditing badly, were either incorrectly billed. Some of the old ones we're going to be moving off the books into a bad debt sort of account, and because right now it looks really crazy, and I want to get to the point where 95% to 99% is in the current or 30 days, and we have a bunch of old ones on there that go back years that we can't collect more than a few years back anyway, and we have to determine what they are. One of them is the largest one, and it was liened improperly by prior attorneys. There's no parcel number, so we have to relien it. It's a big job, and we're going to get it done. It's just going to take some time. I think it's like the last step on my cleanup of the finance department. And finally, I've heard from the sales rep for Avidex, who is going to transform our sound system into something that our mayor loves. She says, well, I'll believe that when I see it, but I'll be meeting with him and maybe some people from Auburn IT on Thursday. So I'll get the quote hopefully by then. He wants to deliver it to council, and we'll see what it is if I let him. But hopefully we'll know that in the next couple of weeks, so we can, I'd like to make the purchase this year, since we have room in the budget for that. So we'll see how much it is, and you probably, if you're not, maybe you're wondering that, well, what do we do if we were going to move out, say, next spring? Well, we haven't put together a budget or a proposal that is including moving. So it's actually portable. Not all of it. Some of the mics would stay, but we'd have enough so we could have 9 portable mics over in the portable, wireless. So, and we're also this may include a screen so we can put our PowerPoint up on that, and then smaller ones if we do move to portable that we can use later on the day. So it's going to be interesting to see how much it is. I told him the area I'd like to stay in fits in our budget, so he's going to try and match that. And I'll let you know as soon as I get it. I'll probably bring it to Technology Committee, which is meeting in a couple of weeks, and then we can bring it back to council. But that would be great to get that done, as I know it's been something when the city's wanted to get done, the council has for quite a while. And that's it.
Question?
Thank you.
All right, so does the court have anything to report back tonight?
I believe that the October stats are in the packet. If anybody has any questions.
And Kelly's here tonight because she has something on the agenda. Thank you, Kelly. All right, public safety.
Ex-council member Halsey is correct that we have had a rash of burglaries, most of them to do with recreational vehicles, several motorhomes, a couple campers or trailers, and we have not been able to have any suspects. They're out at night, I believe they're on bicycles. So we're still working on that. Past week, we had a serious sex crime take place. We were short-handed. I called in the major crime task force from the coalition, and the commander sent down 3 detectives and an instant commander, and they processed our scene. They followed up. We ended up arresting the suspect. About 4 o'clock in the afternoon, this happened early in the morning. And our day shift officer had to go to Harborview with the victim, so we were very short-handed. And I also wanted the council to know that we had that horrible shooting up in Marysville. And we do, not only our police department, but all the coalition cities, we practice at least once a year active shooter, and we've done it in trade schools, junior highs. We've been down to Alpac when they do the lockdown, and we evaluate their system and what they do. So it's something that we don't ignore. We take it seriously.
questions from council?
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, next up, Public Works.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. A couple items to report on tonight. The first bit of information to share with you all is some work activity that went on today. Is the city hired a firm to come in and do an inspection and cleaning of the city's reservoir, which is a 750,000 gallon water tank. That periodically it's recommended that you do this type of work, and it had been 7 years since the city had undertaken that activity. And the consultant, the firm that was hired, said we were in really good shape, which was always nice to hear. And they recommended, as it is per industry practice, to come back in about 5 years and do another inspection, and then decide at that time if we need to do a cleaning or not. So that was one of the items to report. Another item to report upon is maybe a little bit of a page from the city administrator, is I have a to-do list, and as I've been here a short period of time, I've checked off a couple of items. But one that I need to pick up and start working on is contacting Department of Ecology and our stormwater permit coordinator. And this is for the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System permit. That, as one of the audience members said earlier, there's an awful lot of activities involved in that permit. So I intend to schedule a meeting with the coordinator and learn where we are at and where we stand in Ecology's eyes, and then be reporting back as I gather more information on that plan. So that's all I have this evening.
Questions? Thank you. Okay, community development.
Mayor, council members, not too much to report, even though there's going to be a lot more to report coming up. One thing to note that I had some comments back from the Department of Ecology, Department of Commerce, our proposed SEPA regulations. They don't have to be reviewed by them, so they will be coming forward fairly shortly for full council review and adoption, which would be good to have because we have a lot of new code provisions, or I should say new code provisions, but revised ones that I've received from our city attorney regarding legal non-conforming uses, the development agreements, comp plan amendments that are necessary to be done, and all those code amendments have to be reviewed through SEPA. It would be nice to have a good, clear SEPA regulations in effect when we do that SEPA review on those, so that we lessen the likelihood of appeals on them once we get them coming forward. And those will be coming forward pretty soon too, and in that respect I'll talk with Councilmember Oliveira about getting a committee meeting of the governance committee put together so we can start bringing some of these before that committee to get some input on that. Lastly, so that nobody's really surprised, Miles Sand and Gravel, their facility out there on Stewart Road, they'll be moving 18 of their cement trucks to their new building out there for their heavy maintenance out. They're moving them there from the Auburn site, which is being taken over by the Muckleshoot. So if you see a lot of cement trucks over there, I don't know why. It's their new facility. And that's it. Any questions?
Questions?
Where's the new facility?
Well, it's right next to the batch plant. It's just to the east of that building. Just to the east of the batch plant on Stewart.
The new building?
No, it's been there for a little while. I can see there was what was it, plumbing pit. Yep. Right. Yes, they're moving in there. They're converting that to their maintenance and service facility for their cement trucks.
And which facility are they vacating? The one off Gulf?
The one in Auburn. That's
Gulf there.
Yeah, it's in. I don't know exactly which street it's off of. Which street?
I think it's M Street.
M Street.
M Street. Yeah. The Muckleshoots will file them out from there. required to take all their activities off-site by December 1st, so they'll be moving their trucks there by December 1st.
Since the batch plant is already here and they're moving the trucks out there for maintenance, we're not expecting significant additional loaded cement truck traffic on our streets, just empty going to the maintenance?
Well, that was a specific question we did ask Miles Sand and Gravel, because the batch plant itself is what we call legal non-conforming or grandfathered in. And what they indicated to us, talking to their representatives, is that the amount of traffic will be approximately the same as what they have coming there now. Only right now, only with the new facility, the trucks won't be traveling as far to get to the batch plants now, but they will be dispatched out of there to other places in this area. So they said, regarding the traffic, it's going to be basically the same that's coming out of there.
Further questions from council? All right, community services, come on up, Darcy.
Yeah, I have pages today. I even typed it. So on, of course, October 31st, we had a Halloween party both sides. The youth side, they had 30 children. They had 4 new families. They did trick-or-treating. They, of course, went to all of the different departments. They had story time with Dane County Library, pizza party, and they had games. The senior side, we had 23 seniors, games, treats, movies, Carpenitos, pumpkin patch, lunch, and a costume party that Mr. Clint Steiger was a judge in. And I believe everybody had a great time. From what I've heard from our numbers from both sides of the house have been down for several years. Community Services is working very hard to get our numbers back for the last several years. As everyone knows, these numbers that participate took a nosedive, and we're trying everything we can to recover from that. The situation isn't our fault, but we're doing our very best every day to recover from that situation. We're willing to get suggestions from our community and to try our best in the events, to get events into our programs. As young families to use our facilities, we'd love to hear from you. As seniors, we want to hear your thoughts and ideas. Comments have been made, and I want everybody to know that Community Service is trying our very best to build our valuable programs. That being said, I want everybody to know that our city has gotten a CBG grant. With all the help from our city employees, we have all made that possible. We asked the committee for $66,700. We were awarded $106,000. Which, I know.
Good job.
It will be used for the senior center and the youth gym. The project will be completed in 17 months. It will be conditionally awarded between January 2015 and March 2016. Then there's also steps you, of course, have to take. This isn't anywhere near done. The environmental review must be completed by HCD prior to the contract. A representative must attend a pre-project implementation, meeting conducted by the Community Development Section Coordinator for a briefing on applicable policies and procedures. Draft bid packages must be reviewed for a comment before the final bid project is completed, and the final bid must be approved in writing by HCD, and I'm not sure what that stands for, staff before the bid process begins. Funds are conditionally awarded. To be used for the roof repair for the senior center and the gym, the awning between the buildings, the minor improvements in the center, drain spouts and awnings for the gym, ceiling tiles for both buildings. The members of the board felt that $66,700 was not enough for the project, and they awarded the increase of $39,000 to bring it to $106,000. These are conditional funds, and they must be returned if there's any remaining. On April 4th, the pre-application was due. May 30th, applications were due for King County. August 8th, there was a 5-minute presentation that was done for the grant. September 25th, there was notification to agencies for modifications of recommendations. We did not get that notification, so I figured we were all good. and here we are today. So, enough with that grant for a couple days. Cities and schools, Leanne was graciously offered us the opportunity for the youth side and the senior side. It was done on Wednesday the 29th. The fundraiser so far has raised $104.11 for both sides, and we will be splitting that 50-50. The holiday bazaar was Saturday. Joanne had rented most of her tables for the youth side. She's not sure exactly how much money she had. It was just on Saturday. The senior side did breakfast and lunch, and of course I haven't counted the money either, but it was very slow. The weather was way too nice. People didn't. They would rather spend it outside than inside. My last thing I have is that earlier this year I had contacted the Walmart Foundation of Facilities as for a grant for the stone soup and for the snacks for after school for Joanne's kids. I found out today that we were awarded $500. This is to be earmarked for stone soup and for the kids after school snacks. We will be getting the check within 2 to 3 weeks. This is just a notification to let you guys know what's coming down. And that's all I have.
Good job. Right on, good job.